All right, let's get into the next one. T-Gods has some, actually, I think me and Q more have some explaining to do looking at the ADP. We got CeeDee Lamb. He's currently being drafted as wide receiver 12, 34th overall. T-Gods has him right at 12. Q and I have him at 20 and 21. T-Gods, why do you love Lamb so much to start us off?
Don't you guys know this already?
Yeah, we do.
Do I
think
really need to
everyone
explain
knows.
it again? The
I mean,
offense is elite.
if you don't want to.
Coop he's going to get hurt. He's going to miss games. We know that. He always does. CeeDee he's just better. He's younger. He's more reliable. CeeDee Lamb, he'll show you why. I'm telling you, just trust me.
Goat.
My argument mainly is because these rankings aren't as updated as they should be. If I could update them, I would put him at 16 behind Cooper at 14 and Julio at 15. So he'd be at 16. I think he's the truth this year. I don't know about top 12, but he's going to be, and I don't think he's going to be better than Cooper either. If Cooper plays the whole season, we've talked about the last pod on the NFC East, Cooper was the best receiver in the league through the 6 weeks that Dak played. And also, let's not call him the best offense in the league. Maybe best fantasy offense in the league. But
all he said was that offense is elite.
Oh, elite fantasy offense.
So
Elite
slow
offense in
your roll,
general.
jabroni.
I think that offense is elite in general. They have
Is
a
it
great
elite?
offensive line.
Or is that
Yes.
defense just elite league shit?
The defense is bad, but the offense is still good. It also just helps for fantasy. But just to defend my CeeDee Lamb at 20 here, I'm a big believer in Amari Cooper. I still think he's going to be the number one guy there. Last year, he was the number one wide receiver in fantasy in general before Dak went down. He was feasting. And to T-God's point, missing games. He's only missed 3 career games.
No way that's true.
Big facts.
There's no way that's true. I don't believe that. He left the games. He might have started those games. He left games.
He just leaves games.
In terms of games started, he might have missed like 5 or 6 where he played but didn't start. Like he kind of went in and out. But overall, he has not missed that many games in his career. Amari Cooper is he's been a healthy guy. He was Dak's number one last year. I do think CeeDee Lamb is super talented. I do think he could easily squeak into that top 15. And it could be like a one guy or the other every single week. But I still just like Amari Cooper a little bit more. And that's why I have CeeDee Lamb a little bit lower there.
Amari Cooper, also known as Mr. Irish Goodbye. He's good at giving the Irish leaving early. No one knows he just leaves the game early.
I'm tired. I'm going back.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Los Angeles Rams. Robert Woods, Bobby Backwoods, Matt's favorite guy here. He's currently going ADP wide receiver 14, 39th overall. Matt, you got him at 12. T-Gods and I got him at 13. Q, you got him at 16. So, Matt, you can start us off why you're so high on Bobby.
Mainly because of that QB upgrade he got during this offseason. I mean, from him going from Jared Goff last year and having a top 13 wide receiver season in terms of fantasy, I mean, I don't see why he can't exceed that with Matthew Stafford. Staff is light years better than Jared Goff. I mean, Goff was turnover prone like shit. I think him still having Cooper Kupp on the other side just only helps him. They feed off of each other so well. Neither of them can really get double coverage because if you do that, the other one's going to come right back and bite you in the ass. So, I mean, I just like Woods a lot. Last year, he upped his touchdowns to 6. Previous year, I believe he had 2.
Yep.
And I don't see why he can't finish with even more than that this year.
Yeah, I agree. Q, you're a little bit lower on him.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think Goff was like a safer quarterback, and Woods was the guy that he could just dump it off to, hand it off to. And it's weird because I'm hating on Woods because I had him one year. He was like my wide receiver 1. He was so good.
Shh, don't remind me. I traded you him that year
for like Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, don't remind
me.
Or
Phillip Rivers.
Oh, but, it's definitely Phil.
Definitely Phil.
He saw the
I don't remember what wide receiver I got, but
10th
forget
lowest in air yards last year. For what that's worth, I mean, he has Matthew Stafford now, who's beyond better than Jared Goff will ever be. So maybe I'm just biased towards the hating side. I don't want him to be as good as he may actually be, but I am taking him over Cooper Kupp. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're not that much lower on him. You got him at 16, so you're just a little bit lower than us. So you don't hate him, but he's not
Few
your guy like
spots, give
Matt.
or take. Love Bobby Backwoods.
All right, let's get into Julio Jones. As I already mentioned, I'm really high on Julio Jones.
Best in the league.
His ADP is wide receiver 15, 41st overall. I got him at 12. Q's got him at 15. Matt, 18. T God's 19. So I'll start us off here with Julio. I still love Julio Jones this year, even though he's moved on to Tennessee. Obviously, I liked him a little bit more in Atlanta with Matt Ryan. That duo has been together for so long. But I still think Tannehill is going to sling him the ball. I do like A.J. Brown. I do think both of them, like similar to Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, it's going to be one or the other every week. Obviously, if Derrick Henry's not feasting already by that point. I think one of them is probably going to be a wide receiver one, if not both. I think both could easily finish top 12. I have Julio at 12. I really like Julio's. Obviously, I mean, what else do I have to say about Julio Jones? What he's done for his entire career. As long as Julio Jones is on the field, he's going to feast. I'm taking him as a low-end wide receiver one, at the worst, high-end wide receiver two.
We talk about how much we love Julio in Atlanta, but like the touchdowns were lacking, which is what has been like the big down part on his career. So I think in Tennessee, where there's no like good tight end, I guess you can say, Henry, as long as they're not on the 1 yard line, they'll be throwing the ball. And A.J. Brown, as good as he is, I still think they'd go to Julio, who's like a red zone, back of the corner of the end zone target.
Just throw him a fade, he'll go get it.
Not against Jalen Mills, though.
But my biggest concern with Julio Jones is definitely last year we saw it. He was just missing games left and right. Couldn't seem to stay healthy for the life of him. I mean, he is getting up there in age, so I don't know how well his legs are going to be underneath him again this year. But, I mean, we know Julio Jones' talent level. Like Q kept on saying, one of the best in the league. I'm not saying he is the best because he's not.
Top 5.
But I just think, like, his availability drops him a few spots for me because if he was guaranteed to be healthy and he was healthy last year, I mean, no reason why you wouldn't have him inside the top 12.
Yeah. You guys are a little lower on him too. You should just kind of agreeing with Matt there.
Yeah, I'll add. I think that this is a team that's going to be up in a lot of games. I don't see them playing from behind a lot, and that's Derrick Henry. That's not Julio. So, I mean, I don't know. I just like A.J. Brown a lot. I think he's elite. I think he's obviously. I think he's going to finish over Julio, but I don't know. I just don't think they're going to be playing from behind. Maybe if Julio can get some more touchdowns, then I'll show him a little bit more respect. But he's just old and beaten up.
Their defense is not good, so they might not be leading.
Yeah, they
could
be in shootouts.
Yeah, it's possible.
Their defense is all right. It's not awful, but it's not good.
Like middle of the pack.
Yeah,
they're like the Nets of the NFL. Great offense, probably going to be one of the best offenses in the league, but defense is just what's going to be their.
And the
downfall.
Stars are always hurt.
Yeah,
well, at least AJ and Julio. I guess you can call them Kyrie and James Harden,
but a little more sane.
All right, let's move on to the other side of the Rams wide receivers. I know we already talked about Robert Woods, but let's talk about Cooper Kupp as well. His ADP is wide receiver 19, 49th overall. I got him at 19. Matt and T-Guys got him at 20, so we're all right there with the ADP. Q's a little bit lower again here with Cooper Kupp at 24. Explain yourself.
9 games under 10 points.
Ooh, and that's a good point.
And about 5 or 6 under 5 points. Now, Jared Goff, obviously, again, not Matthew Stafford. And this offense should be where it's like Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp are the ones, or maybe even both of them, because we've seen that also. But I guess I'm basing it off of what last season showed me. But Matthew Stafford is a guy who's going to air the ball out. And Cooper Kupp, I think, Robert Woods could be a deep threat, but Cooper Kupp, we've seen him on the deep throws. I think out of 8, there's like 8 deep targets he had last year. Only one of them were actually caught. So it's more on Jared Goff's side. So as long as he can get those deep throws, and we know that Matthew Stafford is the guy that's going to ball out, just air it out as far as he can. I think he could finish better than where he is. But
He is still drunk from this weekend.
I am. I just
I
spilled
hope you
something
finish
everywhere.
that. Oh,
Nice. All right. Anyways, yeah, I do. I can hear where you're coming from a little bit. Those stats from last year do scare me a little bit. I do think Matthew Stafford helps just balance his offense out. So you guys, what do you got?
You said 9 games under 10 points or something?
Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing.
No, I think that was just standard.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there.
No,
I'm pretty sure that was in standard.
that makes sense.
Just
I
to
mean-
clear that up. I don't want anyone thinking Cooper Cup sucks. He doesn't suck.
All right. Well, if you, yeah.
He
he
still had
doesn't
4
suck.
games under 10, so I can
It's a lot better than 9.
a lot better
A
than
lot-
9.
a lot
though.
better than
9 was
9.
terrifying.
But
9 was
there
like,
is-
bro, that's
9 was
bad.
like, there's no way.
I mean,
I
but
had
that-
to check that.
There's for the standard guys who don't.
Yeah, grow up. Play
Well-
PPR.
Not that. Well,
At least half.
there might be some fans that like standard, but now they don't draft Cooper Cup in standard. See, I just threw that out
Yeah,
there.
Don't. Dude's helping everyone.
All right, let's move on to the other half of the Seahawks wide receivers. We talked about DK. Tyler Lockett. T-Gods super high on Tyler Lockett at wide receiver 17. Matt super low on Tyler Lockett, 27. Q right there with him with 26. I'm smack dab in the middle at 21, 1 spot below ADP. I'll let you guys take this one here with Tyler Lockett.
I gave my spiel on Tyler Lockett before. If you missed it, go back and find it because I'm not doing it again.
I mean, I kind of touched on him when I brought up DK top 5, but I don't, like I said, he was the definition of boomer bust last year. So, I mean, unless he solidifies his role as a wide receiver 2, because he damn sure ain't the wide receiver 1 there anymore. I just don't see him having the type of year he did last year. I see him being more of like a flex option, like a low end wide receiver 2 flex option, more than like a high end wide receiver 2 where he was last year.
I was just kidding. I'm going to talk about Tyler Lockett later.
All right, you guys will talk about Tyler Lockett
Was
a
it
little more later.
expected? The guy that loves the DK Metcalf the most out of all of us, and the one.
Of course,
forget-
he's the lowest on DK. Makes sense. I mean, lowest on Lockett, not lowest on DK. That's why I'm higher on Lockett a little bit too. It all makes sense. At least we have somewhat of a brain here.
All
Mhm.
comes 360.
Can I just say I'm so glad we're not talking about the Steelers wide receivers?
Yeah, thank God. We
Well,
avoided that.
I will say, if we're just gonna go
Oh,
back
God.
off week
There
one,
is one. I missed it.
Deontay Johnson made a crazy.
No, I don't
play.
want to talk about him, please.
I'm just saying,
We'll
Deontay
talk about
Johnson.
Claypool
He
in a
has
minute.
my eyes.
They got it. They had to make a drop in here. We talk about him every week during the season. So,
Yeah,
All
and them and the Browns.
of
Browns
course.
wide receivers.
All right, let's move on to the Bengals. We might be talking about them a lot this year. Jamar Chase, his ADP is wide receiver 24. Q, you're the highest on him at 23. Matt, the lowest at 30. Where does this discrepancy go with you guys? Me and T-Gods are in the middle here.
AJ Green saw at least 5 targets a game last year. He's gone. So what makes you think that they're not going to target Jamar Chase at least 5 or more times with Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins also on the field? And I think he probably is the best receiver out of the 2 or the 3. So he's may not. I have him ranked as the best rookie receiver, but I don't think he'll finish as the best rookie receiver, which I've said before is going to be
Devonta Smith with with Justin Jefferson numbers. We've heard it.
or T. Higgins numbers.
That's
Either way,
bonkers.
elite.
Yeah.
I respect
T.
it.
Higgins numbers, elite. Main reason why I am the lowest on Jamar Chase. Tyler Boyd's still there, like I just said. T. Higgins. I mean, I get it. He is coming back to his college quarterback.
Chemistry's fake. Chemistry's fake.
I just don't see all the hype in that. I mean, the NFL is so different than college. Who knows if what they did in college would even translate well into the NFL. So I just think that the NFL plays it much smarter. They just go with the guys who are clearly better, who they put in a better position to win games. And I just see that being – I think Jamar Chase will end up being the wide receiver 2 on this team, but I think T. Higgins is clear wide receiver 1. I mean, we saw it last year. He had sort of a breakout year. Nothing against Jamar Chase. There's just other names there that I like more, and other people that I have ahead of him that I like more as well, who are more the clear-cut go-to guy on their team.
He was picked 5th overall over a lineman that probably would protect their franchise quarterback. So they
They
obviously
wanted
have
the
some.
storyline.
No, no. Yeah, the storyline of their number one overall pick dying. They rather take that risk of their storyline than whatever.
Whatever. Jamar Chase, what are you saying, Q?
I don't
Hey,
even
what?
know.
All right. Yeah,
Did
Jamar
you
Chase.
spill that? How is it already full again?
I'm fast.
Q's a wild. I have no idea how he poured something.
And I'm
during the
still
podcast.
mopping.
And he's mopping somehow. All right.
Very good
Anyways,
multitasking.
Jamar Chase, I'm in the middle here with T Gods. I got him at 26. I'm still flip-flopping back and forth with him and T Higgins. I'll probably have that finalized as we get closer to the season. But I do like Jamar Chase's talent a lot, and I do like the connection he had with Burrow. Whether chemistry is real or not, you like to throw to guys that you've already had chemistry with. So I know he's got chemistry with all of them, but I do think having that feel back from college definitely has somewhat of an impact.
Coming out of college, him and T. Higgins were like apparently being prospect, or they were being looked at as the same type of wide receiver. So like when T. Higgins was coming into the draft, he was looked at as like a Jamar Chase. Maybe. I don't know if that's real. But also, who is the Bengals tight end? CJ Uzomah? I mean,
that's why I didn't even try and mention this.
and why didn't we even talk about Joe Mixon yet?
Because we're talking about wide receivers.
Yeah, but you're going to say Joe Mixon will take targets.
Not mentioning Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon will take targets, though.
You're mentioning him now. Now Q's the Joe Mixon guy.
I'm just trying to make everyone happy. I'm trying to make everyone happy.
All right, let's move on from the Bengals. Move on to DJ Chark. He's currently being drafted wide receiver 35, 85th overall. I'm the highest of 30. T-Gods is the lowest at 41. So let's get into this a little bit. T-Gods, you want to start or you want me to start talking?
No. I'll start. I am a believer in Marvin Jones. I don't think he's done. I think he's still got at least 2 great seasons ahead because they signed him for 2 years.
They didn't pay him $7 million to be a mentor.
Exactly. Well, some of that, like maybe like $500,000 to be a mentor. But DJ Chark, I got this from a TikTok. It's facts though. I checked it. DJ Chark in the past 2 years only has 4 games as a top 24 wide receiver. Where's the hype coming from? I don't get it. I don't see where the hype is coming from.
Hey, I can hear where you're coming from with that. I think obviously top 24 wide receiver it does make sense. Like some weeks he is the biggest boom guy. Those 4 games, he's had some big games over the past couple seasons. He really didn't break out until 2019 when he kind of came out of a shell there with Nick Foles, Gardner Minshew. He was starting to catch some longer passes.
That should say something. He had those guys at quarterback.
Yeah, he had those guys at quarterback. I like Trevor Lawrence this year. I do think he takes DJ Chark a step up from where he was. That's why I have him a little bit higher than ADP, as well as in general, he does usually have a pretty solid floor. Although he's not finishing top 24, he is still getting you that 10 to 12 points a week you're looking for, with that upside of having those 4 of the last 4 games with as a top 24 wide receiver. In those 4 games, though, he was pretty high up, more close to top 10 than top 24. So he does have some boom potential. I like DJ Chark. He's one of my favorite targets for a flex. I'll talk about him a little bit more as well later.
And you also think they didn't draft Trevor Lawrence to run the ball. So he's going to be throwing it too, and he's going to be throwing it, and he only has a couple other options, Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault, who are good options, but they want DJ Chark to be the wide receiver 1.
Yeah,
I guess that's the boom and the risk that you take. You just hope that he can be that.
Yep, exactly. I think he can be that. Last year obviously was a down year for him. He was kind of banged up. Quarterback play was inconsistent. So I think that's kind of one I'm writing off and believing still that 2019 DJ Chark is going to come back and be a nice solid flex option.
Do you remember the one quarterback they had 1 week or 1 or 2 weeks? I forget. None of us could
Luton or whatever.
Yeah, Luton. Jake Luton.
Yeah.
Luton.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I don't remember exactly how good he was. He had that one game where he kind of looked good, but whatever. All right. DJ Chark, I like him. Draft him. T-Gods disagrees. Don't draft him if you like T-Gods. Well, that's a bold statement, but you know what I mean. All right, let's move on. Back to the Bengals. Tyler Boyd.
Is Sean drunk?
I might be. No, I'm just kidding.
All soda.
Back to the Bengals.
Oh, dude.
Tyler Boyd. He's currently being drafted as wide receiver 37, 91st overall. Q loves this Bengals offense, has
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd at wide
Q,
receiver
please
29.
explain.
I got him at
Please.
39. I'm the lowest. So Q,
I
you
want
can
to know
start us
why
off.
you're the lowest first.
All
Let's
right,
switch
I'll
it
let
up.
you know why I'm the lowest. I think he's the odd man out in this offense. I don't think I'm that much lower on ADP. I'm a couple spots below it, but still, Tyler Boyd's not someone I'm really targeting as a flex this year. He's more of a wide receiver 4. I do think he's going to get some volume, but I think the touchdowns aren't going to be there that often with T. Higgins on one side, Jamar Chase on the other. And like Q wanted me to mention, Joe Mixon coming out of the backfield and running touchdowns in too. So I think Tyler Boyd ends up being the third option out of these wide receivers. And I don't think the third option on this Bengals offense is going to have wide receiver 2 flex value. I think he's going to be more of a wide receiver 4 that you plug in, week out as like a bye-week filling kind of guy.
Well, you're kind of hoping that Joe Burrow throws as much as he did last year. It may have been very unhealthy that he was throwing that much each week, but all through him, so Tyler Boyd, AJ Green, and T. Higgins also at least 100 targets. So as long as he's catching them, he could finish top 35. I have him ahead of that, but yeah, he's going to be the third option, but he's not going to be a bad third option in general. I think there's a lot of better he's better than a lot of other players that you could pick. It's just you're scared because Jamar Chase and how good we've seen, or how much we've seen from T. Higgins to take a lot of those targets as well. But I think there's still potential there because when it wasn't T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd was a breakout star.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd definitely still has talent. I just think personally he's the odd man out, but it could be any one of the 3. So we shall see. Maybe all 3 of them are top 30, like Jeep says. All right, let's move on to Debo Samuel. This one may get a little heated here between myself and T-Gods.
The biggest discrepancy that we have.
T-Gods actually isn't the craziest here compared to ADP. He's currently going wide receiver 38. He's got him at 40. Matt and I have him in the top 30. I have him at 25. Matt's got him at 28. Q's got him at 34. So we're all kind of all over the place here. I guess I'll start us off because I am way above ADP. I still think Debo Samuel is a rock solid wide receiver when he's healthy. Obviously, the only thing that scares you about Debo Samuel this year is his health. If Debo Samuel's on the field, he's going to be a solid wide receiver. They use him in so many different ways, especially coming out of the backfield as like a wide receiver. He gets a ton of targets out of the backfield in those weird kind of handoff plays. And he really came on strong in the second half of 2019. Obviously, he kind of had a banged up season in 2018, but even when he was on the field, he was still getting targets, still getting some volume. So obviously, Ayuk is there now. Ayuk's going to take away some of that volume, but I think he's going to be still, if not the number one, splitting with Ayuk. I have Ayuk a little bit higher at 23. I got Debo right behind him at 25. I think both of them could easily have potential to be low end wide receiver 2, high end flex options.
I think Debo's just stuck in the flex realm.
You'll see. There's plenty of targets to go around, depending on quarterback play. I mean, we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo get it done in the past. So even if he comes out starting first couple of weeks, I have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to hear T-Gods talk about him, just go back. Go back to the NFC West.
Hurt.
Yeah. Injuries, obviously the biggest concern. I'm drafting him in mindset of I really like this guy, I like his talent, and I believe in it. And I don't think the injuries are going to continue, similar to, as I mentioned in the past, Keenan Allen, freak injuries for a couple of seasons. And then
I didn't like that comparison. I don't think
going all the
Debo
way back to
Samuel will ever be back.
2015, Sean.
Right,
We're going all the way back
right.
2015 every season.
It's okay.
Every season.
It's okay.
Leg.
It's okay.
All
Debo's
right.
ready this year.
It's not
He's
a
ready
leg.
this year. He's ready this year. All right, let's move on. Had enough,
Get hurt.
Debo. All right, let's move on to the guy I'm repping today, Jarvis
Of course.
Landry,
Just Cleveland.
of course. Just Cleveland. 80, you could see it, whatever. Obviously, I'm the highest in Jarvis Landry, as I always am, but I've come down to earth a little bit here. I have him as wide receiver 33. Matt, you're the lowest at wide receiver 43. His ADP's wide receiver 41. Matt, why do you hate Jarv, man?
I'm surprised that you said
his
that.
quarterback
First of all,
sucks.
Matt,
His
I'm
quarterback
surprised that
does
you
suck.
I'm surprised that you had him that low, knowing that there's a risk of being kicked off the podcast with the host being.
Yeah, I know. I'm walking on thin ice right now. So let me not say anything too hurtful about Jarv. But I mean, so I'm going to start off by saying this quarterback sucks. It's not really mainly Jar, but I mean, even when we saw OBJ go out last year, Jar really wasn't all that we expected him to be. I mean, we kind of expected him to hop right into the wide receiver 1 role there and produce off of it, and we didn't see too much of that from what I recall. I don't have like exact numbers or anything, so I'm going based off memory, which who knows how good that is anymore. And OBJ's back. So, I mean, he is clear-cut their featured wide receiver in Cleveland, and they love running the ball. They have 2 of the best running backs in the game, so I don't know how much they're going to be depending on Baker to throw the ball because I'm sure that they're well aware of his woes as well. So I'm just kind of shying away from Jarvis this year.
Do you guys
Sorry,
clear
Sean.
cut? Make sure you have that definition somewhere so the fans know, because that's been used a lot today.
Clear cut. All right.
But the one positive that I had written down for Jarv is that he's one of 7 wide receivers in the last 5 or 6 years to finish top 24. And you could probably think of the names that are with him. Jarv. Julio, Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Brandon Cooks, and Amari Cooper. So he could finish. He has top 24 potential yearly, I guess. But
That's got to be in only PPR, right? There's
Yeah.
no way that's in standard.
Yeah, no way.
If
Yeah.
it's in standard, I don't even know if I even want Jarv.
well, I guess because I made that standard stat earlier, that we should now start specifying
Yeah,
when we're
our
talking.
league is now going to standard.
99% of the time we're talking about PPR.
Yeah.
But just to defend Jar
I
here.
am 100% talking about
But there's been
PPR
so many
all the
weeks
time.
last year, or just because for Sean's sake, I hope that Jarv booms. But you can't have big expectations for him. You just have to hope for something simple, like some 8
8
points.
catches for like 48 yards,
Yeah.
maybe a touchdown.
Maybe.
Why was he
Jarv-
not top 10?
Maybe he
with
gets
OBJ
like a
out?
punt return touchdown.
With
Does he play
OBJ,
the special
I think
teams?
OBJ being on the field helps Jarv. In 2019, when OBJ was on the field with Jarv was wide receiver 12 that year. Wide receiver,
Holy
and
smokes.
he was never lower than 18 aside from his rookie year until last year. Obviously, I'm not as high as 12 or 18. I have him at wide receiver 33, which is higher than ADP. I still think he's an elite wide receiver in the NFL. Maybe not at the tier of Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, but in that next like echelon of wide receivers, I think he's right there with OBJ at this point in their careers. OBJ obviously is going to help take away some of that pressure from double teams and whatnot. And Jarvis Landry is going to be able to get open a little bit more. And last year, there were a couple of games where it was just super weird game script. I think they had like 3 games in a row with
All
just
in the
horrible
wind.
weather, wind, thunderstorms, whatnot, kind of threw him out of it. He was a little bit banged up here or there, but he's one that doesn't really miss games. So Jarvis Landry, I'm back in on him. He's definitely a flex target for me more than a wide receiver 4 like he's being drafted as.
If he stayed on Miami, like if that was a choice for him, I think he would be in like the Keenan Allen type tier. I think he'd be Keenan Allen material if he were to stay in Miami, if he were still in Miami. But it's just Baker. I don't know. Jarvis was like
Baker
top,
does impact this offense, but it's also a run first offense.
Jarvis
so
saying
that
he was
hurts
like
him a little
top,
bit too.
top of the top when he was in Miami. Maybe
Yeah,
that's where you fell in love with him.
Well, yeah, he was super solid in Miami also. But even in his first couple years with the Browns, he was also really good. So I think just last year was more of an anomaly than anything. I still think he has top 25 upside, but I'm drafting him more as a flex option this year personally.
At least you're somewhat reasonable now.
All right, let's keep this thing rolling here. Chase Claypool's the next one. ADP wide receiver 27, 68th overall. T-God, you got him at 28. Q, you got him at 35. Q, why are you so low on Claypool? Actually, I got him at 35 too, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
why
tell
are
me
you
why.
so low
low.
on Claypool?
I'm low on this whole offense. Claypool's the 3rd guy still, in my opinion. Not low on the offense, but low on all 3 wide receivers being a 3-headed monster. I'm a little bit lower on Deontay than ADP. I have Juju slightly ahead of Claypool. I still think Juju's going to be super involved in this offense. So I think Claypool is going to be more of a boomer bust flex option. He can catch those deep passes as we've seen, but I don't think he's going to get the consistent volume that you want. That's why I got him a little bit lower.
I think like he just had a couple of good performances that put him inside the top 20 as a wide
Well, yeah, he
receiver.
scored 4 touchdowns against us.
So
That
like,
was insane.
and then we were all high on him. Maybe he had like a good next week or so, but he's been he's wide receiver 3 50% of the time, or 50% of the games that he's played last year. So I wish he was above Juju because I'm not a big fan of Juju. And Deontay, as long as he's fixing the drop options, he's top 15. So I think a majority of his stats and hype came from that Eagles game where he had 3 touchdowns, or what was it, 4 touchdowns?
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. He also had
4
some big plays
touchdowns.
in other games where like long touchdowns. So
But they were so like spread out. So there was never like a train of hype. It was just this, then dead, then a little sprinkle there of a good game and whatnot. I don't know. But that I don't know. I want to like him more. But with Ben Roethlisberger as well being so old, I don't know. I think they're also going to be leaning towards the run a lot more with Najee Harris being someone that could be like the next Le'Veon Bell in that offense or the star.
yeah, I agree. I just think there's so many mouths to feed, and I still think he's kind of the third deep shot option. That's why I'm lower. But Matt and T Gods are also lower than ADP, so we're all not super high on Chase
He
Claypool
has
this year.
upside though.
Nope.
Obviously, upside. Boomer
I don't
bust.
like him.
Yeah,
I do
he's
like
not-
him over
Crappy
Juju, though.
TikToks.
I will add that. I like him over Juju.
Respect it.
Sorry, but I do.
I have him over
Respect it.
Juju.
Proud of you.